is Happening with Allison B.
Well, hello, and welcome to episode 4 of What is Happening. The title of today's episode is Be Like a Sunflower. Stand tall and always turn toward the light. And this is something I've had to learn over the years to do to help share my faith in God. I used to hide under the bushel and not, I don't know if I have the right words to say, or what am I going to say to someone? But now I feel like we need to stand tall, be confident, and look toward the light of God to help lead me and to share my story with you and my journey with Myasthenia Gravis. So today's episode, thank you for joining again, will include my special guest, Betty, an art tour, so to speak, tips on how to support someone who's going through hard times, and some great must-haves. So let's invite my guest, Betty. Oh, I like your outfit.
Oh, I love yours.
Well, this is my friend and my mom, Betty, and I want to thank you for coming on. She hemmed and hawed for a long time and didn't want to do this with me, but I just feel like she's such an inspiration, and I want to share your story with everyone, so thanks for coming today.
Well, thanks for asking me.
Yeah. So, have you watched the episodes?
I wouldn't miss it.
Okay. So as you know, we always start with sharing our coffee mug, a favorite coffee mug. So do you want to go first and share yours and why you
Sure.
picked it?
My favorite coffee mug has a UK on it. It's for the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, you got to, Universe. Okay, tell us about that.
And I graduated from the University of Kentucky and majored in home economics, and I was in extension work. I've been connected with 4-H club work since I was 10 years old. I'm now 92, so that's 82 years that I have been involved with 4-H and homemakers and extension work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was born in Kentucky as well, and then we moved to Wisconsin when I was 6 years old. So, yeah, so I have that Kentucky heritage, and all my grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins. Shout out to you guys.
You've lost your accent, though.
I did.
But I haven't.
So I just want to say, hi, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mug today, which is awesome that you had one, is this beautiful sunflower mug. So I remember seeing this here, and I thought I had it at my other house. So I'm glad you had this. So because my theme is sunflowers, this was perfect. So I'm going to be using the sunflower mug today. So, yeah, so it's kind of funny that we're dressed the same today, because my husband would say that's something that we tend to do a lot. We have lots of outfits that look similar, and we wear them, and we think we're so funny doing this, and we're like, I wonder if anyone will notice, and if they don't, you're sure to point it out. So we've done that over many years. We've had we've had matching stripe outfits, tie-dye outfits, hats, derby hats. We would always get derby hats and come home and sit on the couch and wait for Scott to come home and see us sitting there.
And hand-painted scarves, like when I painted on silk.
Oh, yep. So, but I want to share one of my favorite outfits that we had. And this was up at Mount Hood. And it just happened to have this big snowfall, and we just happened to have these matching ponchos. So we went outside and did our little photo shoot. So did you have a favorite time, or was this one of yours too?
No, that's one of my favorites. It's so different.
Yeah. So
you don't see that very often.
Mm-hmm. And remember, we used to also kind of share clothes. So sometimes, and this happened after I had graduated from college, and then you started getting these cute little outfits. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that. And you were always so generous and say, well, you can borrow it, and you would ship it to me, or I would take it home, and then you'd let me have it for a month or two, and then I'd have to mail it back to you. Remember, we bought a dress on the cruise, and we'd take turns dressing in that. So
That was our excuse for paying a little bit more. We'd say, oh, well, we share it, so it's for two people. So
Yeah.
that was our
We
excuse.
could justify it and let our husbands
Justify it.
So I also want to share our Bible verse today, which is, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven, which comes from Matthew 5:16. So I thought that kind of went with our sunflower theme about shining your light and bringing glory to God. Because I know you're a really strong Christian, and you've always been an inspiration in my life. And we attended church regularly all through all the years, and you were in Bible studies and women's group. Well, you can share some of the things you've done through the church. What are some other things you've done?
Well, mainly circle and Bible study, and just going to the regular services, Lenten services, and just different services that we have, and activities that are church sponsored.
Yeah. And for you, you've been very good about sharing your faith and just having a good heart and helping others in your community. So I know you are very, very good at visiting people in the nursing homes.
Well, I try to as much as I can.
Yep.
Yes, I enjoy that, and I try to do that.
Yep. And you'll make desserts or your famous lasagna and take that to people if they're
And Derby
needing that.
pie.
Oh, Derby pie? Okay. Or give little gifts. So, yeah. And then you just mentioned, I wasn't going to mention your age, but you mentioned that you were 92, but you had a big 90th birthday party. And I wonder if the people can guess the theme about what that was. Did you guess sunflowers? So here's Mom on her 90th birthday. Yep, we did sunflowers, and we decorated this big party room and had sunflowers all over there. And I think the neat thing about that, you had specifically wanted that people didn't bring gifts. And you had asked that people do something, pay it forward, kind of thing, where they would do something for other people. So people thought that was really cool that you did that. So that's another way you're very generous and helping others. So that was really fun. Your party.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And you make an impact in your community too. So I don't know how many years ago that it was, but you were the one of the grand marshals in the parade. So I was lucky enough to come back, and there you are waving with the other one going through town. So that was super cool. So they honored you. Do you remember all the reasons behind or what they were kind of highlighting?
Just community service, I guess you would say.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was lucky enough to come back for that. And do you remember how we got to the parade?
No.
Okay. So there was a knock on the door, and it was a policeman. And he escorted us, but we had to sit in the back seat of the police car and go down to the parade. So we had a lot of fun with that. So lots of pictures and had fun being in the back of that. So So you mentioned that we were in UK and that you liked the Kentucky Derby. So that's one thing I remember, is that when we did move to Wisconsin, you tried to bring a lot of those Kentucky traditions back or to Wisconsin, and you would have the Kentucky Derby party. So that was always really fun. And it's something my family has continued and my brothers have continued. And so that Derby pie, why is that so special? What's in this Derby pie?
Well, the recipe is patented, so you can't distribute it as Derby pie, but I call mine chocolate pecan pie because it has chocolate chips and pecans mainly in it. And so I make that every year for the Derby.
Okay.
Of course.
Yep, and that's something people look forward to at our party as well. So at the end of the episode, I will have a link so you can get that recipe and make it yourself, because it is a very simple recipe to make.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of like just a dump and put in the oven and go. So we'll have that for you. And I think another thing people think of when they think of a Kentucky or Kentucky Derby party is grits. So what are grits? Maybe not everyone's heard of those. And
Well, it's hominy. Originally, it's corn that has been made into hominy, and it's ground hominy. And I always northernize mine and add a lot of cheese. So that's my northern recipe for grits, casserole.
And that's how I've grown to love them too, because the plain grits are just plain. Maybe a little salt, but we doctor them up. We say cheese and butter and garlic. So, and we kind of like them when it's not even Kentucky Derby time. My family enjoys that, and so do our friends. They kind of like it that one time a year, though. But I will also be linking that recipe for the grits at the end of the episode. So be sure to get that must-have recipe as well. So talking about sunflowers, another lesson that we can learn from them is that sunflowers teach us that even in the harshest conditions, we can still bloom. And I think you and I both kind of went through a little health issues recently, and we can share our journey with you a little bit about that and how what I've learned from going through that, how others helped me to share with you on how you can help others, because you can just get a perspective on something that's been meaningful or helped us personally. So many of you know that I have myasthenia gravis, which is an autoimmune disorder. And last summer, I was in transition between a medication that I was on for 10 years that was working and keeping all my symptoms at bay. But then I ended up getting a melanoma. So my doctor wanted me off of that and try another medication. And until that new medication was approved from the insurance company and in my system, it took 2 months. So there was 2 months there that I really struggled with maintaining the symptoms and just kind of had it lay really low. And 10 days out of that, I was in the hospital. And at that time, I was getting these treatments called IVIG, where they take my antibodies out of my body and then clean them or wash them or whatever, and they put them back in. So my immune was very compromised. So I didn't want any guests or any visitors at the hospital at the beginning of that, till I felt like I was kind of out of the woods, so to speak. So it was great, because once the word kind of got out, people were sending flowers or cards or little gifts. And I just have to say that was something, because I'm there all day long, really by myself. And it would just break up my day when they would knock on the door and say, "Allison, you have something." And it was this beautiful flowers or big balloons. And I would just focus on that whole day, thinking, oh, how beautiful those flowers are and how much that meant to me. And I know a lot of people aren't in hospitals very long, and I didn't know how long I was going to be there. So I think people are kind of hesitant to send something like that. But I just want to say it just made my day. Anytime anything came, a balloon or a card or the flowers or anything, I just thought that was really cool. And getting the text messages during the day keeps your mind off of it, because I was struggling to breathe and I just needed stuff to distract my mind. And those little things were great and kept me happy and my mind thinking about other things. And I know, like, my husband, he kind of started this little tradition, and I just loved it. He would, and because his mom was in the hospital, she had some heart surgery, and he would just call the gift shop every single day and just say, just pick something little. Because flowers I don't know how they can charge you so much money for them, because I know they're very expensive. But one day he would just send up like a candy bar, or one time he sent up, a deck of cards or snack mix for his visitors. So every single day, something little was sent up to her room. And I thought, I love that idea. So that's something, or a puzzle book or Sudoku or anything like that, or magazine or anything. So just keep that in mind, that people do really appreciate that when you do that. So yeah. And then my mom, you just had a little oopsie, which kind of put you a little bit behind for a couple months. So this is a picture of you and I when I came at Christmas, and you got something on your arm there. You want to share a little bit about your journey?
Well, I fell, and when I fell, I landed right on my face, but I braced my fall and I broke my wrist. So that it actually ended my driving. I no longer can drive.
Yes, that was a huge.
I had to have physical therapy on it, and it affected my hand. So I've been just a one-handed old woman for 4 months now. But it's so much better now.
Yes.
It's so much better that I think I'm going to get back to painting.
Oh,
I had to
I was going to ask you about that.
painting. But people have been so good to me about taking me places. Since I can't drive, they'll come by and they'll say, can I get something for you at Walmart? Mm-hmm. I'm going to Walmart, I'll pick up something for you. Or they will furnish a ride to church for me or to Circle. And they've been so thoughtful about coming by and taking me places. And my neighbors here at the lighthouse have been very nice about taking me places.
Yeah.
So I haven't stayed at home very much.
Well, yeah. And I know in December you would have people would bring you meals.
Oh, yes, I have Meals on Wheels.
But your friends were giving you meals back before you started that.
My friends were bringing me meals, and my sons live near the Dells, and and their wives were always bringing me meals and desserts and something to eat, and they took care of me.
Yeah. So if you know someone that's not able to drive or to take care of themselves for a while, these are some good tips that they can reach out and say, what do you need? I can go get your groceries for you. I can bring this meal over for you.
Oh, and one neighbor knocks on my window every morning.
That's right.
To check on me, to see if I'm all right. And she takes a walk every morning, and so she makes sure she stops by and pecks on my window to check on me. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I do too. I love, since I don't live in the same state, that someone else is kind of every day making sure everything's okay at this household. Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. So I mentioned, you were going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. So I mentioned earlier that, or I think you might have mentioned it, that you paint. And so I want to share some of your paintings, because that was your profession. You said you majored in home economics, but I remember you always being an artist and working down in our basement at our home painting. And you went through, I'm going to have you tell your, what all you've painted on, because you kind of kept with the times and you always were kind of changing, whether it be something called baker's clay, this little clay. And I remember you'd make little ladybugs out of that with little sayings, or saws from the farm, or horses or flowers. So we're going to share some of your art and do kind of like a little art tour, and you could share about all that, because that's your thing. Whoops. What was that? Okay, just a minute. Okay, so let's look at your art show. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a little bigger. This is you in your art studio, which actually is a car garage. And you said you would paint in your home at times, but then the smell of the turpentine would get to you, so you would move out to your garage. So you want to share a little bit about your sunflower picture?
Okay, I'll tell a little bit about the sunflowers. I love painting sunflowers, and I get to painting one thing, and I just paint that particular thing until I get it out of my system, I guess you'd say. And I became interested in painting sunflowers. And I found out that that's the national flower of the Ukraine. And because sunflowers is their most important agricultural crop. And so they sell more sunflower seeds and sunflower oil all over the world. And so that's why they're called the Sunflower Nation. And so a couple of years ago, I became really interested in painting sunflowers. And I had connections in Ukraine with the project of those leaving the Ukraine, and I started painting sunflowers, and with the help of the Wisconsin Dells Art Association, we sold the paintings and sent the money to the refugees in the Ukraine. And with my connection to the refugees, she said that some of the ladies, when they received this, they cried. Well, then that made me cry.
Well, that's going to make me cry.
And so the Sunflower Project took many months. And that was one of my favorite projects that I've ever done, because I felt like it was really helping the refugees in the Ukraine. Definitely.
That's a great story, and how you can impact others beyond your community. Okay, so this is some more of your paintings that you wanted to.
Yes, I have painted on everything. Someone said Betty will paint on everything that doesn't move out of her way. And I have painted on everything, including barn boards and barn doors and silk and clothes and shoes and antiques such as let me think of some antique skillets, antique skillets and glass and mirrors.
And I mentioned the saws.
And the cross-cut saws.
Yeah.
And I have different spells, and I stick with that particular subject. And I got to painting on mirrors, and everything that I painted there for a while was on a mirror. And
Emmett Kelly.
This is Emmett Kelly, the most famous clown ever. And his eyes follow you everywhere you go. You can't move out of his sight.
Right. Always watching you.
Yes. And he's painted just on a barn door, just as is, with the hinges and everything. But I think I enjoyed painting him more than any. I've enjoyed that one more than any painting.
Yes. And then here, you did your raccoons. You want to share about those?
And here are the raccoons. I have painted so many raccoons. This one I particularly like the frame for this one and this one. And I love painting raccoons and their eyes.
Yeah.
But my signature painting is flowers.
Okay. So this one.
And there's the flowers. This one was painted for the Alzheimer's Association one year. And the sales of it went for Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And I love painting horses, and particularly Kentucky Derby horses, Kentucky Derby entries. And if I paint a winner, then I raise the price of the horse. If the horse loses, then I cut the price in half. And this one is painted on a barn door, a small barn door. I think this horse was Foolish Pleasure, but I have painted Secretariat many, many times.
Yeah, beautiful horses.
I love painting, and the Kentucky Derby is coming up pretty soon, so
Yep.
I hope to be painting one of the entries to the Kentucky Derby race, May the first Saturday in May.
Anything else you want to share before we end?
I think those are the main
All
things
right.
that I wanted to share.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming.
Well,
Hope
thank
it-
you for asking me.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and
Yeah,
I'll
you too.
see you in a little bit. Okay. Bye.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you feel right now like our world is broken? I mean, I just kind of think about all the things that is happening now and like things that are going on in our political realm, all the natural disasters, the fires, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the floods. It just seems like it's just more than ever and more frequent and more severe. Like we just don't have time to recoup from all of these things. And then what about, I've just noticed a lot of changes even with TV and movies and books and the content that we're being exposed to and the language that's in them. Like I'm sitting there most of the time, it's like, why did you have to put that in there? This was a great movie or a great TV show, and you had to add something that just kind of is like, why? So how do we know what is right and what is wrong? Because we don't want to follow the world and what they're saying and doing always. We want to make the right choices and the right decisions, and it's easy to follow evil. So it just all really goes back to what I feel is the Bible. That is the truth. So if you're ever struggling with what is right and wrong and what does God really want us to how to live, it's all in the Bible. And we just have to get back to reading it and spending time in the Word and having God's Word guide us. Remember those bracelets we used to have years and years ago, the What Would Jesus Do, WWJD? I think we need to bring those back because I think it's great. You're wearing it on your wrist. It's a reminder, and you can always make more informed decisions about, is this something God wants me to be doing, or is this a worldly thing? So anyways, we just need to remember that we are here to please God and not to please others. So sometimes we might be on an island just doing something that other people would say, that's really weird or that's really strange, but stand up for what you believe in and stand up for God. And one thing I've been fortunate to do with this retirement is have more time to be in the Word, in the Bible, and to have that connection with God and more community with being at different church functions and being around other Christians. And so I want to share some of my favorite things that I have been relying on a lot to help me through my Bible study and that type of thing. So one thing I really, really like is this Bible app, and it's right here. It's called the Holy Bible. I'm circling it right now, and it's on my phone. So, and I have it right on my homepage. So it's I see it, and I can do it every morning, and I just love it. And this is for somebody who, let's say you don't have a lot of time, because and you just have a couple minutes. You can go to this app, and I'm going to blow it up. And whoops. So here's the front page. So here's the Bible verse. Well, okay. For the day. I don't know what that's doing up there. So just have the Bible verse. And then there's this little 2 to 5 minutes. This person comes on, tells about the Bible verse, and then relates it to real life. And if you just have 5 minutes a day, just go here. This is great. If you have more time to get more involved, then there are, at the bottom, you'll see there's Bible plans. So you can just put in a topic. So maybe you're struggling with anxiety or you're struggling with fear. You just put that in, and like a 7-day plan will come up, and it just helps lead you through daily by daily. This is just amazing. And then it has all the Bible in there. And so you can pick whatever, all the verses. And then it has whatever kind of Bible you want to read from. So it has different Bible, I don't know what the word I'm trying to say, like just different versions of the Bible that you can relate to. So I really encourage this, and there's a place for prayer, and it's all free. So this has been an amazing app, and I try to do it daily, and I encourage you to do that. And another thing that I've really enjoyed is so another thing I have really enjoyed to help me with my time with God is getting a read the Bible in a year or plan. And my friend Lee gave me this. Showing up pretty good. But anyways, so I really like this plan because it starts chronologically in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. And then every day you are to read, well, it's 5 days. Well, I guess it's only 6 days a week, so you get one day off. So every day you would read, like, if you started in January, the first one would be like Matthew 1 and then Genesis 1 through 3. So I really like how that is laid out. And what I've been doing is went to like TJ Maxx or one of those cheap stores and got this, a really fun notebook. And I kind of have divided it into different parts. So I start with my daily devotions, which is from that little Bible app. So I take notes and encourages me to focus on for the day. And then the next section is all the Old Testament. So I just write what verse it is and then just a couple little notes about it. So I love writing it. It makes me accountable. Then I have my New Testament here. And then the next section, I put the little more in that Bible app where you did those little specific studies. So I wanted to like focus on God's glory. So I just took that little that week of reading those verses and praying on that. So this just has been really, really great. So I do want to share this up close better. So this is an example of what I've been working through. And I went online. You can get these online for free. You can just put in and get a plan that works for you. And if you not able to do it every day, that's fine too. Just, do as much as you can and as often as you can. Then hopefully that will keep you closer with God and make that a habit so that you're doing it every single day. So, okay. So I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about my must-haves. So as you know, each episode I try to put on a must-have, and what I'm going to do for my recipes is I'll show you how to do this later, but you're going to go to posts on my YouTube channel. So that's where I've been able to find it and upload it, a Word document, because I wasn't able to figure out how I can get my recipes for you. So from past episodes, you'll be able to get all of those recipes. So my must-haves from this episode is the derby pie and the grits, and you will get that recipe in the posts, and I'll show you how to do that. My other one is that Bible app, the YouVersion Holy Bible, and a Read the Bible in a Year plan. So those are my must-haves. And I put this derby pie recipe on here. I guess we're supposed to call it chocolate pie. Because my mom said, whatever. So this is kind of like my little tip. So it's, like I said earlier, it's so easy. It's a stick of butter and you melt that. And then I always freeze my chocolate chips. So I just take out 6 ounces of that. It's about 1 cup. And then a cup of chopped pecans, a cup of sugar, half a cup of flour, 2 slightly beaten eggs that you'll add last, and then one of those frozen pie shells. And May is first Saturday in May, so you might want to try this derby pie because it's delicious and it's super easy to make. Now, as far as the grits, that's something that my mom used to make it, and I looked at her recipe, but that was something that she could get in Kentucky, was these like little tubes of garlic cheese, and we can't find them anymore. So just as long as you add butter and cheese and garlic to the grits, you're going to be good. But my friend Lee, who's from the South, has shared this recipe with me, and it's kind of, I'm going to have it online because it's going to be hard to read. But I have not made her recipe yet, but I've had her recipe several times, and I have to say it's delicious, and everybody just loves it. So this will be listed on there. I'm not going to go through this recipe because I haven't read it. So, okay. So where are you going to go? You're going to go to the YouTube channel, which you probably are at right now. And then when you see like the videos, playlist, and then the posts, click on that post, and then you're going to see all the recipes there. So make sure you do that. Whoops. And whoops. Okay, so that sounds good. All right, so my takeaway and focus for this month for you. All right, being encouraged by my mom, what if we pay it forward? Let's challenge each one and do something, whether you're at a coffee shop line or you're at the grocery line. I don't know, let's think of how we can spread kindness to others and do that this next month, and then see how that goes. So I'm going to do this as well, and then we'll touch base of what we've done. So, okay, so see you next time. Thank you for joining. And here is to a better you and to me. Bye-bye.